This is Michael Popok for the new Legal AF MTN YouTube channel. You're here already. Thank you for being here. We had to spread our wings in collaboration with Midas Touch. We're here, Legal AF MTN. Free subscribe. Hit that oval button. Bring others to do it too. It's not that I want to talk about Donald Trump's new movie, his biopic called The Apprentice. It's that I have to, especially after Donald Trump apparently woke up from a stupor at 1 a.m. and maybe he got pay-per-view in his hotel room and he got to see the movie. And now he's lashing out as only he can. I'll tell you the lash out first, and I'll tell you about the movie and why he's got bigger problems. One, he called it fake and classless. I thought that was his campaign slogan. Fake and classless, 2024, MAGA. No, but apparently he found this to be fake and classless. I don't know what it could have been. The close relationship, almost homoerotic, with Roy Cohn, his closeted gay advisor, and who taught him everything he knows about how to be despicable and horrible and with sharp elbows. He was the real father of Donald Trump, the Donald Trump character that we're watching now, not Fred Trump. Was it that? Or was it the rape scene of him raping Ivana, the woman, the first wife buried on the 19th hole at Bedminster, which only comes from an exact testimony of Ivana Trump in a divorce proceeding that she started with Donald Trump, where she claimed that he raped her. She later recanted it, I'm sure, for good reason. However, she did say it under oath at one point. So it's not that far-fetched, especially given the other context of what we know about Donald Trump. E. Jean Carroll twice proved that he was a rapist. Technical rapist in New York, because the jury couldn't figure out what he used to penetrate her. Under New York law at the time. Juries don't believe him, believe that he's a rapist. And in addition to that, we've got all the other reporter for People magazine, the woman that sat next to him had the misfortune of being upgraded to first class on a plane, a dozen other women, including a bunch of women who said he assaulted them sexually at the U.S. Open tennis tournament over the years. I mean, you add them all up, it's over a dozen women who give credible testimony, including under oath, that Donald Trump sexually assaulted them. And then you have the Access Hollywood tape, which he didn't know he was on, because it's a hot mic moment, in which he said he could literally grab a woman by her P word and get away with it because he's a celebrity. So is anybody thinking it's not possible that he raped Ivanka or Ivana? Sorry, I had a Freudian slip there literally for a minute. Got the two women confused. Sounds like he does sometimes too. And then the movie, I'm sure, is pissing him off because the woman who's portraying Ivana, Maria Bakalova, played the daughter of Borat in the last movie, where Rudy Giuliani tried to fluff himself with his hand down his pants, and while she was in the room. So I'm sure this came full circle for Donald Trump, and he didn't like it. Now, The Apprentice is not referring to the show that Donald Trump was on. It's the movie's premise that he was the apprentice for Roy Cohn, who started with the House Un-American Committee and advising Senator McCarthy back in the 50s to try to put Americans in prison for being communists, or at least that's what they alleged. That's where he got his start, to being sort of the lawyer of choice, this tough guy pit bull lawyer in New York. In fact, when Donald Trump ever gets in trouble, he's always like, who's my Roy Cohn? I want a Roy Cohn. It's one of the reasons Boris Epstein apparently is still so close to Donald Trump. And Michael Cohen was, because Michael Cohen became Roy Cohn for Donald Trump, and then he went to jail. Roy Cohn died of AIDS at some point in his life, but he was the spiritual leader and advisor for one Donald Trump, especially during his formative years. There's two things that are the midwife for this character we see called Donald Trump. One of them is Roy Cohn. The second is Vince McMahon of the World Wrestling Federation, WWE. The only reason he's not more involved with the campaign is because he's got his own sexual assault and sexual harassment problems as he's pushing 80. And his wife, Linda McMahon, represents the McMahon family as the co-head of the Donald Trump Presidential Transition Committee. And so if you don't think that Vince McMahon also had a role in teaching Donald Trump how to be this character he's playing, this World Wrestling Federation heel of Donald Trump, let me show you a clip to remind you of Donald Trump actually wrestling, not an actor, not somebody portraying him. This is not a Saturday Night Live skit, with Vince McMahon about 10 years ago. Let's roll the clip.
Hey, look at this! Donald Trump! Donald Trump! Taking down Vince McMahon!
So born from this a terrible, terrible demonic stew is Donald Trump. Out comes Donald Trump. Part World Wrestling Federation heel, part Roy Cohn acolyte. And Donald Trump doesn't like it. And he doesn't like that the sex assault is up on the screen. So he calls the director human scum. And he sicks his Stephen Chung press secretary. By the way, leave a comment. Is Stephen Chung a real person or is he AI? I've never seen the guy live. He looks, even his image looks like AI. Let's put it up on the screen. Is he real? I mean, I know his intelligence is artificial, but is he real? So Donald Trump comes out with his whole screen. Let me just read to it. But my favorite part is what the director did in response. And this director, he's masterful to begin with. He convinced Dan Schneider, who's the Republican MAGA supporter of Donald Trump, who used to own the Washington Commanders, used to be the Washington Redskins football team, until he got booted out of the NFL because of his own sexual assault and sex attacks. He donated the money to put up the movie because he gave it to his son-in-law, Mark Rappaport, who invested it in the movie, thinking it was going to be pro-Donald Trump. Well, I mean, it's accurate. I don't know about pro-Donald Trump. So the fact that this director was able to get the money from a MAGA guy, that alone is enough for me. Here's what Ali Abbasi, who's the director, had to say when he got the tweet this morning, or the social media post this morning from one Donald Trump. Listen to this part. So Donald Trump writes at 1 o'clock in the morning, a fake classless movie written about me called The Apprentice. Do they even have the right to use that name without approval? Yeah, they do. It's called First Amendment and public commentary about issues. Will hopefully bomb. It's a cheap, defamatory, and politically disgusting hatchet job put out right before the 2024 election to try to hurt the greatest political movement in the history of our country, make America great again. My former wife, Ivana, was a kind and wonderful person, who claimed in a court document that you raped her. And I had a great relationship with her until she died, and then I buried her on the 19th hole at Bedminster Golf Course. You think that's where she wanted to be buried? The writer of this pile of garbage, Gabe Sherman, a lowlife and talentless hack who has been widely discredited, knew that. So sad that human scum, like the people involved in this hopefully unsuccessful enterprise, are allowed to say whatever they want in order to hurt our political movement. And here's my favorite comeback by Ali Abbasi, the director. Thanks for getting back to us at Real Donald Trump. I'm available to talk further if you want. Today is a tight day with a lot of press for the hashtag The Apprentice, but I might be able to give you a call tomorrow. No emoji, but implied. So what do I think the impact of all this is? Having grown up in New York, I'm younger than Donald Trump. Can't you tell? Especially since I shaved the beard. I haven't heard a story yet about Donald Trump that I didn't think had a ring of truth to it, having watched and observed him. I lived in New Jersey as a child and a teenager, young adult. I watched him put 4 or 5 casinos into bankruptcy. He's the only person in the world in the gaming industry that found a way to lose money owning the house. I watched that already. I watched bankruptcy judge put him on a $50,000 or $100,000 a month allowances. I watched him tank every business he's ever touched. I knew people that were lawyers for him. I'm about 3 degrees separated from Donald Trump, at least being in New York in those circles, so I kind of know that world. And I'll be honest with you, it's all true. How Donald Trump, a middling family office owner who inherited all of his money from his father and then used it as a brand, he never built a darn thing. Everything is licensed, just his name. How he bamboozled through the Celebrity Apprentice people to vote for him, I have no idea. He would not allow MAGA to shine his shoes if he saw them on the street. If he didn't think it was going to help him get elected. He's a billionaire who floats over the ground. His feet never touch the ground with all of his butlers and support staff. He lives literally above a golden elevator. He has nothing in common with people. And he wants to be a dictator and a fascist. And this movie just calls it out. Talks about the formative years. Yeah, it may be fake and classless, Donald Trump's campaign. But this movie isn't. And I had to watch it. I've now watched most of it. And I got to tell you, I think Sebastian Stan does a great job as a young Donald Trump. And I think the other people playing the other roles do a great job too. I think Jeremy Strong is an underrated actor coming out of Succession playing Roy Cohn. Really. If you want to find out about Donald Trump and how he got here, besides Vince McMahon at the World Wrestling Federation, watch this movie. And I'll continue to follow all this stuff at the intersection of law and politics right here. Take a minute. That's not even a minute. Take a second. Go out and find the oval button, free subscribe, hit the button, and help us get to 250,000 by Halloween. In less than a month, this group, this audience, this loyal contingent got us to 200,000 in 26 days. It's crazy. I'm so grateful. But it shows you that we need this at the intersection of law and politics. So until my next hot take, until my next Legal AF, this is Michael Popok, and I'm reporting. In collaboration with the Midas Touch Network, we just launched the Legal AF YouTube channel. Help us build this pro-democracy channel where I'll be curating the top stories at the intersection of law and politics. Go to YouTube now and free subscribe at Legal AF MTN. That's at Legal AF MTN.